Brian, what have you made of the first season of this new competition? The big boss of UEFA, Alexander Seferin, said the idea of it was about making European competitions more inclusive. Do you think it's done that?
Well, I have to say I was quite sceptical about it before it started, Tommy, but as the competition has gone on, you have to look at the response of the clubs that have been in the competition and the response of the supporters of those clubs. And they've come in vast numbers to watch the games. I remember back to us covering the Europa League game when Leicester City got knocked out, I think, by Napoli, and Brendan Rodgers was told after the game that they now dropped into the Conference League, and he said, "I don't know what that is." And it looked like he wasn't respecting the competition and he wasn't too interested in what was going to happen next. But as his team went to play in that competition and he realised that there was an opportunity to get back into Europe from winning it, he got very, very serious about it and began to put out his best team in the knockout stages of it, and was very disappointed to lose to Roma in the semi-final. And there was big crowds, full stadiums at all the matches we saw most of the way through the tournament, and particularly at the semi-final stage with these teams. The Marseille match with Feyenoord, both packed grounds, very, very, and both of those teams have very passionate fans who would be discerning. But the supporters of the clubs, I think, showed a response that said, we want to be involved in European football, even if it is only the third level, and it is the third level. These teams aren't good enough to be in the Champions League, or if they were in it, they wouldn't be very competitive with the squads they currently have. And I think it's gone so well for the European, for UEFA, that I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years' time if they went for a fourth competition. Hasn't meant it's more inclusive for the smaller nations. To a degree, it's a bit easier for them, but they still need to be very good to get to the group stages. When you look at the teams who were playing in the group stages, there's still a lot of clubs, or mostly clubs, that are well armed and have the resources to compete at European level.
Worth making the point about that whole being more inclusive thing. Like this season, prior to this season, no club from Armenia, Estonia or Gibraltar had ever played in a group stage, and they all had teams in the group stage this year. 12 different nations were represented in the last 16 compared to, say, 8 in the last 16 of the Champions League. So spreading the love around was the idea. But can you ever hope to sort of make, European football more egalitarian, in a week where PSG are paying Kylian Mbappe, $1 million a week or whatever it is?
It's very hard, but I think for fans, you want to watch good games. And I think trying to share out European competitions, you need to be careful that you don't dilute the product as well, because the Champions League is so good. The ability and the class of the teams is fantastic. The further down the competitions you go, you lose that bit of quality. You look at the semi-finals of this competition, there's 4 very good sides. So for the smaller teams, the smaller nations, to try and get further in this competition is very difficult. And if they were to get further, what does the level of football then become? Because I'm looking, if Leicester or someone like that, West Ham next season, would they risk a Champions League place and give up this competition? It's one of those. It's a tough one for the bigger clubs to gauge what's the right way to go about it. But like Brian says, if your team's involved in this and you're getting into the semi-finals, quarter-finals, the opportunity to go and watch a European final, the jeopardy of that comes with being in